Hey everyone, welcome to Office Hours. It's good to be here with y'all. And just to introduce myself, Jonathan Grant at your service. So we're going to be talking about the Contractor Hub. Let's just give it a couple more minutes to see if we're going to have another bit of an audience here. Well, just to point out, actually, Oliver is from our VP of Products is going to be here with us. So any questions you guys have, you can totally give us a shout. Write it down and we can actually provide answers to those questions. To talk about the Contractor Hub, I'm actually going to go about sharing my screen and going from there. So let's go ahead and pull that up. All right, so which we're going to be showing here is my demo account. First of all, to start off. So let me just talk about what the Contractor Hub is actually beneficial for. So first of all, it's going to be very explain itself. It's going to be connecting with your contractors who are going to be doing possible jobs for you down the road as you're going on with projects. So as this is a seamless way you can have a better communication with them throughout the project process. And you can actually go about doing a manual record of the contractor or actually having them sync up with the a ProLine account. So to actually go about going to where we can find that, we're going to be going from each of your accounts. You can go to the hamburger menu right here, top left, and you'll see this option, which it says Contractor Hub. So I'm actually going to pull that up right now. Cool. So I actually already placed some couple of examples here to actually show you all how this plays out. And we can also, go about adding more just to actually see how it goes about there. So we actually have two main of connections, which would be sending a connection request to the contractor. They will receive an email, which will actually prompt them to, first of all, create a ProLine account if they don't have any. And if they already have one, which will just have them accept the invitation in any case. So just to point out in this regards that actually it's going to make them create a free account. It's not needed for them to have a paid one. So it's just going to be having them create a new one, a free one, and it was going to give them, our basic layout of how the system is. And it's gonna, after they create it, then they just have to go back to the invitation, accept it, and they're gonna be appearing as connected. In this case, if I would go about sending an invitation to a contractor, it's gonna show the status of pending, but whenever they already created the account, it's gonna show the status of connected, like actually how we are seeing here. Okay. So if you're going to be adding them manually, if there is not going to be using or wanting to have that seamless sync is actually we're providing here, you can just go about adding the manual record, just place in their name and then go from there. It will show right here that it's a manual record. From that purpose, what we actually have a breakdown here is where we can actually see the benefits of sharing documents between when you're having a sync. So when you're connected with a contractor, it's going to give you a file section, private notes, and orders, which I'm actually highlighting or showing right here. From the file section, you can actually go about sharing documents with the contractor for the purpose of, anything that's licensing or any kind of contracts that you have to share between each other, or maybe even anything that has to be doing with insurance purposes, right? So I can
A
actually
lot of that will also be the contractor sharing documents with you. So a lot of the time you'll be getting your sub to be putting their insurance documents in there, any license documents in there. They'll be uploading that. But yeah, it can be two-way, but just most of the use cases getting the subcontractor to provide their documentation.
Yep. Appreciate it, sir. Okay. So from the perspective, I'm going to create this file right now for it's going to be, let's say, insurance doc. You can place any kind of description that might be needed in this case. And when you create that, it's going to give you this file section, which will say the title of insurance doc. It's going to give the description and any file that can be added here. So let's say, for example, you do actually have to set an expired date. As it states here, 15 days prior this information gets expired, you're going to receive a notification, which will be letting you know that this is about to be expired, right? And if you do not set any date, well, it's going to be there for how much longer you might need it. And as actually Oliver has mentioned, right, any document that can be received from them, or also you can be sharing here. If you just need to delete it, well, you can just go about taking that off from right here. Going from this section to private notes is actually going to be only for your internal vision, right? So let's say for an example, you and your other team members have access to the Contractor Hub. They can actually go about placing any kind of notes that is necessary. And this is not going to be seen towards the contractor. This is only going to be internal for you to see. Also, you can go about deleting a note if needed. Yeah. So anything that's going on with the contractor that your team or anybody needs to know, they can actually see the private notes from right here. All right. So our next section would be the orders, which is actually the main purpose, or well, not the main purpose, but obviously a well-designed feature when you're working with a contractor, right? So I actually already went ahead. I've created an order and I connected this contractor so we can actually work seamlessly together. So on the perspective from the contractor, I'm actually going to go ahead and I created an account for that just to show you guys how this looks. Give me a quick second here. Give me a moment. I think I actually am going to have to share my whole screen for this one. Give me a quick moment. I'm going to share my whole screen. Screen 2. Okay. So just to go back here. All right, this is already associated on my end with a project that I connected with a subcontractor. And now from their end, this is what they're going to see when they're hopped into their ProLine account. As we actually go about seeing this here. Cool. All right. So this is now from the perspective of the subcontractor. As I mentioned, right, they're going to have a free account and they're going to be able to create projects in which they want to actually stay connected with you in the best way possible. As they go about creating the project, this project that they created from their end, they can mimic the same information, the first name, last name, and also the same contact and address. So you can have that good information. They can go on this let me see here. Yeah. It will give them the order. They can either go about creating the project on their end, or if they already have it created, they can just go about linking it. So since this one is already created, they can just go about typing that name and linking it. So now on their end of things, it's going to be showing all this information connected. And also, since they already have both projects synced up, the contractor and yourself is going to have a folder in which you can go about sharing information between each other within the specific project, right?
So a few notes on this. One of the things that's really good about this is that instead of giving a contractor a free account on your ProLine, you're then able to like only be linking with them on the projects where you want them to be working on. So that makes that a little bit simpler. The other thing with the file transferring there is it creates a mirrored experience. So in your ProLine account, you can upload a PDF, for example, if you want to send them a GAF report or you want to upload some schematics of like, hey, we need you to do this. And then on their end, when they're taking work photos, for example, they can be taking all of those photos in the ProLine camera app and they can all be uploading to that folder. And then from there, they'll all be syncing to your project. So you've got them there. As a little failsafe, if they accidentally delete any of those files from the folder, they won't be deleted out of your folder. It's mirroring between the two, but it's creating an individual version of each file.
Appreciate it, sir. Okay. All right. Now from here, let me actually go back to my account, my demo, pull that up. So in the events that you're not going to be syncing with the contractor via the send connection request, we can go back to the manual record of this contractor I created as well. So you'll have the same functionality. You'll have files, private notes, and orders. The only thing is that obviously, since they don't have a ProLine account, they cannot create folders on their end, and that available for you. So you can also just do it on your end of things and go from there. Private notes still going to be available in orders as well, right? So you can go about sending the order, have them connected as a contractor as well. And what's this going to be helpful for is that you can keep a list of all the orders you have actually worked with this specific contractor. If you want to see a list of all the orders that you could have actually worked on or sent with these connected contractors, you can have all that by just clicking on the orders section right here in the Contractor Hub. And if there was multiple orders, it would show up right here. So in this case, we only have an example of 2. On the same project, it can be a contractor you doing one side of the job and the other one doing the X another amount of the job. Totally fine. Up to any kind of decision you may have. All right. So going from here, by default, not everybody will actually have access to the contractor Hub. Obviously, any admin would have so. But if anybody from your team does have to check the Contractor Hub, it would just be a set of permissions that has to be set. That would be from the Manage Team section. When you go to Manage Team, you can set the permission profiles to anybody that needs to have access to the Contractor Hub, which will then be available. Okay. So from here, let's actually look at the how to go about connecting or sending the order. So I'm going to still use this same project. I already have a signed quote and I already sent a couple of orders. But since this is going to be a work order for my subcontractor, I'm going to go about creating a new one. I'm going to select the quote this was signed. I'm going to use the work order. Okay. When I hit create, all right. So it's gonna since I already have the signed quote, it's gonna pull over all the information that was signed off on based on labor. And I already from the order term, this is where that magic actually happens. So I want to go about connecting to one of the subcontractors. So I'm gonna actually send another order to Red Riot Contractor. Save and close. And from here, you do have the option to just go about sending that. Let's give it a moment. Mark it sent. And after that, we just can go back to the Contractor Hub. And if we go to orders, we can see that actually another order has been assigned to this contractor, and it gives you the list here. If we go back to our main list of orders, we can see that there's more than 2 that we had previously. All right. So let's actually go about, let's see if actually, does anybody have any questions so far? Is there any questions?
It was one, but I just answered in chat.
Okay. Awesome. Cool. So with that being said, yeah. Oliver, do you actually think there's something else we should be covering on the Contractor Hub?
Yes. Well, yes, but it's just me giving more additional context. One of the reasons we are trying to move towards linking to different companies there is it expands a lot of future potential opportunities. One of the biggest ones that we want to look at is the ability to be sharing availability. So for the subcontractor to have their availability in their free ProLine account, and for you to be able to schedule jobs in directly to your linked contractor without having to manage that interaction. So for your production team to have a calendar interface, we want to make a lot of upgrades to our calendar interface, but the ideal end state there would be, you're dragging and dropping a production event onto your subcontractor's calendar be on your calendar as well. But having that calendar availability directly in there would really help speed up and make a lot of those processes smoother. So that's one of the kind of reasons that we're trying to go down that route, as well as then, we can send push notifications to the subcontractor. All of those types of things. It just opens up a lot more possibility in terms of how we can help the subcontractor relationship.
Appreciate it, sir. Yeah, pretty. And well, for the audience to know, well, the Contractor Hub is being worked on, as time goes by. Obviously, with Oliver just mentioned, more features, or it's going to be modified in a way that we can accomplish more goals and make this more seamless than what it is already. So, for the record of, keeping things a bit more easy from each parties, right? Okay.
There was another question there about how do we remove them. You can see just next to where it says manual record, there's a delete button there. So you can delete it there. If you deleted them, then you wouldn't be keeping, we keep the file shared. Depends which shared files you're talking about. There are two different aspects. One of them is the project files. So that one wouldn't be changed at all. If you're talking about the files that are here in the connected company section, then if you deleted the connection with the contractor, then you would lose those files.
Right. Sure. So actually, let's go about testing this. If I created a manual record and just deleting the contractor would be easy as that, pretty much. Yeah. And as actually Oliver has mentioned, if we were to go about, if we had any files here and we go about deleting this contractor link, it's most likely we'll lose all those information, right? So we want to try to avoid that.
Yeah.
So its best case is
There's no reason to delete them. Like if you're not working with them anymore, that's fine, but you can still keep it there for a period of time. If you're comfortable with removing it because you don't need the files anymore, then that'll be fine as well.
that's that's right. So
Cool. Any
and
more questions?
any more questions?
Have some fun questions. It could be about Contractor Hub, could be about anything else. Totally fine. Nope.
How much questions?
Oh,
Okay.
wait, yeah. Well, this is a new format moving forwards. John, I assume you mean Jonathan and myself. In which case, no, Emily's just on a plane at the moment. So we are filling in for her, but she'll be back next week.
Yeah, so
If
it's just a momentarily thing.
if the contractor deletes a free ProLine account, is it automatically disconnected on our end? If the contractor deletes their account, then they won't be able to interact with you anymore. But everything is going to fail safe in that regard, meaning that the files that they shared will still be in your project, meaning that there'll still be a record and all the contractor information will still be in Contractor Hub. That's going to stay there for you. So they wouldn't be able to like add new things to their account because they deleted their account, but nothing is going to be wiped from your side of things, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So in the instance that you go about, they deleted their account and whatever reason, anything that was, based off the sync folder should still be there
Mhm.
for your purpose, right? So it's going to be safeguarding
Yes.
whatever information you had there, like any photos, license, or anything specifically about this project will still be there for you.
In the project, but also in the Contractor Hub side of things.
Yeah, correct. Let me just stop sharing screen here. Yeah. Contractor Hub is pretty straightforward. It's very helpful for that seamless connection with your contractor. And obviously, if you need any record, even though the contractor does not want to have a free ProLine account, totally fine. Just add the manual record there and keep track of all those kind of information you might need throughout any kind of jobs you have worked with them in the past. It's good for a list of information that you worked with them. All right, everyone. So if there's no additional questions, appreciate you guys being here and hope you all have a good one.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank